Live from the Drew Estate Cigar Studio and the Gurkha Cigar Studio in the great state of New Hampshire, welcome to the Spare Notes series with your hosts, Matt Tobacco, William Cooper, and Smokin' Nicole.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Spare Notes series. Good catch there. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTobacco.com, and I'm joined once again by the beautiful Smokin' Nicole, who I'm very fortunate to have with me tonight, as well as our very good friend, Mr. William Cooper from Indian Trail, North Carolina. And Saturday night, Spare Notes night. Once again, we're back. Couple of hot topics to talk about tonight. It's going to be one of those nights, I'll tell you. Get the phone calls in the morning. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how it goes. I'm in a medium mood tonight. Coop, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
It's good. It's good.
It's been a good few weeks for me, so very happy.
You're doing some traveling.
And you
Did some
seem
traveling.
happier, Coop.
You seem
I started
rested.
a new. Yeah, I think a lot of people know I started a new job at the beginning of the month, and I'm really happy in it. So yeah, it's been great, and I'm happy. Yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
Yeah, I know you were up in New York there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that was so fun. That was time I had scheduled already off. So that was partially cigars and partially seeing Mom. So.
Always nice. Did we talk about that on the last show, or was that after the last show?
No, definitely not, because I was in. That was the weekend the Knicks won. I was in New York when the Knicks won that weekend. So.
That's right.
He said he was going.
So.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
so
That's right.
yeah.
I couldn't remember. It's so much going on all the time.
There's a lot going. It was a lot going on. Yeah.
What can you do? Life moves fast.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
I saw that you recently did a review on the McDonald's fried apple pie. And
Had to get that in because it's only a 2-week release. Yeah.
had to get it in.
Yeah. What happened is I actually did all the work for the review, and it was like scheduled for late July, and then because it's going off the market July 4th, I was like, well, I got to push
They only
this
released
up.
it for 2 weeks?
They only did a 2-week release for it. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, yep. I remember the fried apple pies growing up, and they never were as popular as this week. I could tell you that. They were just always there, and you took them for granted.
I don't think I remember them.
I
Yeah,
can't
you probably
remember.
don't. 92 they discontinued. Yeah.
You were.
That was literally the year I was born.
And I wasn't born until 93, so.
So.
Yep.
Not trying to make you feel old, Coop. Yeah, we were barely
my
around.
daughter was born in 92. My daughter was. We had this conversation. My daughter was born in 92. So. So but yeah, it was like apple pie was always a staple, but no one really got excited about it. And what happened in around 90, 91, 92 is that this was a whole health conscious movement. McDonald's got pressure to change the apple pies to baked apple pies, so they did so.
Oh yeah, because being baked is so much better.
Well, I'm not.
I mean,
fried
is the worst. But
it was going on all over the place at that time, yeah. And this is when then Clinton comes in and he required the ingredients to go on labels and stuff. It was a lot going on back then with that. So like I said, you took it for granted back then. I mean, I've heard if people can remember a McDonald's fried apple pie from 35 years ago, God bless them, because I can just tell you right now, I don't remember it that well. So I couldn't really compare it. Otherwise, I thought it was better than baked apple pie. That's all I'll say.
the regular baked apple pie. I mean, we're talking about McDonald's. I mean, there's not really a high standard for anything there.
It's not. Like I said, it's not. It didn't get a huge score.
But
it did good. It did for fast food dessert item. It's fine.
For I happened to be at McDonald's. I think it was Wednesday. I was running around doing stuff. I had to pee really bad. I said, I'll pop into McDonald's. And this particular McDonald's, you gotta buy something, use the bathroom, because, people like to. I'm like,
okay.
I'm like, all right. I'm like, I was picking up Anastasia. I'll get a large fry, and I grab the apple pie. I said, you got the 2 for 2, whatever it is. I said, I'll get 2.
Yeah, they have a deal. You get 2. Yeah.
I give her 1. So I place my order. I go to the bathroom. I do my business. I come out, grab it and go. I'm in my truck. Open it up. I said, let's see what the hype's about. I take 1 bite into that thing. And just like Dave Portnoy, 1 bite. Everybody knows the rules. I take 1 bite. And immediately, it comes to my brain. And I know exactly what I'm going to say about this. It was instant. Just like that. As soon as my teeth hit it, I'm like, boom, I already know. My review was done. You know those apple cinnamon candles, Yankee Candle? I think they always have them, but like they're really hot in the fall. All the white women buy them.
I'm not really familiar with them.
Well, it's the apple cinnamon fall like candles that all the white women buy.
It's
because they want to be basic.
Filling in there.
And
it is very heavy cinnamon filling.
And it's very
artificial apples.
Yeah. And I remember I was like, if you were to take one of those candles and throw it on the ground, break the glass out of it, pick up the wax, and just bite as much as you could. That's what it is right there. It was very strong artificial apple cinnamon. Just like, I'm like, this is not what those things taste like. It is like you could taste the cancer.
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was bad. Was it the best apple in there? No. It got a 6.5. That's not a great score. It's not a terrible score.
We have an interesting comment here. Hold on. I'm trying to. Why is this not working? Like when these shows have links to join. This isn't a join show. Sorry about that. Yeah, we did that one time. Never again. We learned our lesson.
We did that one time too, and never again.
Never
during
again.
the pandemic, and Bear thought I was gonna have a heart attack. Like never again.
This isn't that kind of show. This isn't one of them herfs where like everyone can jump in. No, this is a program.
No, listen,
it's a curated program.
I'm not knocking anyone, but that requires a skill to manage that, and I don't have that skill.
Did you just turn your?
No, I happened to see that it was off. I gotta fix that.
Speaking of food, though, we had some British people visiting us last week. The Brits, my aunt, and I asked her. She goes, "What do you want me to bring you?" And I'd always tell her, "Bring us chocolate. Bring us Cadbury chocolate, whatever." And she brings me, and I forget like how much of a big deal it is, but like we have a million different types of orange flavored chocolate. That is not a big deal
in England
here, but it's a big deal in England. Like we have chocolate orange buttons, like orange flavored, orange chocolate eggs, Jaffa cakes. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I like orange and chocolate.
I don't think I would either.
Right? But it's like such a big deal over there.
The Jaffa cakes are not bad.
That one's like a sponge cake.
Yeah, but I know
with
what
like
you're
a
saying.
jelly
I don't think I can get into
filling. I dropped it.
Yeah, I don't think I could.
Is that a Jaffa cake bar?
It is a Jaffa cake bar.
Oh, I didn't try those.
They also, at their McDonald's, make a chocolate McFlurry, a chocolate orange McFlurry in the UK. That is the thing.
The one thing I'll say about the fast food in other countries, I've never been there, but obviously I have someone who has lived there. And
they differ. Yeah, they do differ.
Well, not only do they differ, the stuff on like the McDonald's menu in like England, 10 times better than us. Hands down. Hands down.
Yeah, Coop, my vote is as you travel the world, you need to go to McDonald's and do
do it for me.
There was one in Dubai. It was just awful. They had some like falafel, and it was bad.
You didn't want to review it?
Thank God. Well, I wasn't in a place to review it. Was a problem.
Yeah.
So, but I could. So it's not like I could take it on a plane and review it either. So but it was just bad. Yeah. It was actually McDonald's in the airport that had this. So I had all my cameras and stuff in the bag, checked in anyway. It was bad. It was like McDonald's falafel or something. It was bad.
Joseph, gripe of the week is on the other show. Sorry, buddy. I mean, although we'll probably have some sort of gripe this week.
Matthew always has a gripe.
Yeah.
Well,
No, you know what? You know what? Oh, you know.
Saka, there's always a gripe with him.
Yeah, he's been in a good mood lately.
He's been very behaved. We look every week to see what he's bitching about.
Who cares if it's fried or baked? It's all sugar and dough. That's what I said. It's all the same. Well,
I
the
care it's
fried does.
because it got me more hits.
The fried definitely tasted different though. Like the regular apple pie is like decent. That one definitely tasted more artificial. The fried one did.
I find it amazing, but I'm telling you, people say every Thursday I get messages. What's the food review for Friday? I get it almost every week. And if you ask me, I will tell you. I keep it a secret. So as long as I see your message, but yeah, every Thursday, people look forward to this stuff because they're more interesting than cigar reviews.
It's true. I mean, people.
I have a big review coming up tomorrow, actually. So
food review?
No, a cigar review, and I'm curious to see if it gets more traffic. The fried apple pie. I have the Fuente Tempo de Oro coming up tomorrow.
Ooh.
Oh.
I don't know. That might be neck and neck with the pie.
Yeah. People will read that for obvious reasons.
I'm curious. I mean, Fuente is having a big year traffic-wise on my site, so.
They're usually pretty consistent with us.
Yeah.
They're usually in the number 1 and number 2 slot on traffic overall.
I don't know how I missed the Baby Shocks drop, though. I completely missed that.
Yeah.
I actually have gotten my hands on a couple, but I didn't have to chase them down. They were gone. Like, they came and went.
Yep. It's always the case.
Yeah.
That's always the case.
Yep.
Yeah, our Templo de Oro review went out a few months back. I can't remember what I gave it, but it was upper mid 80s, I think, 87 maybe.
I can tell you, it did really good. But there was one problem that I'll talk about it. And I think it was if you want to just read match review, I had a similar experience with one of the cigars. So
people will just have to check out the review.
It was one of the best cigars I've smoked this year. I really like. I mean, I bought a lot of those now.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was good. Yeah, I really liked it.
I'll drop the link for mine in the comments just so people can read it and then they can compare.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see if the apple pie outdoes the Fuente review. I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sounds to me like every time you travel and you go to these events, people are always asking, like, oh, what's
the
the
Titans and tobacco? What do you think they were talking about? What do you think I got asked about?
Oh, they were talking about food.
I don't know, Coop. Maybe you have more of a business in the food review industry.
There's definitely better possibilities, but to do the pace I would do it. I can't do 5 days a week like I do. Yeah, it's just a little more complicated there. I mean, and people I get asked. The big thing I get asked about is eating the food in the car. I will not do that. I don't want people seeing me put food in my face and dripping it all over me. Plus, I'm very finicky about food in the car, so that will never happen.
I don't blame you.
I use I use thermal heat bags to take things back, that keep things very warm. So I use thermal bags when I pick stuff up.
Okay.
Yeah, they work.
Yeah.
I have a really good thermal bag that works.
No one wants to watch people eat it. I don't understand.
Well, it depends. I don't think they want to watch me eat. They may want to watch someone who's younger and looks better than me eat.
No, I see all these younger people who eat too, and it's like I don't want to see you just chewing your food. I don't know.
Yeah, and if you think influencers are bad in the cigar industry, the food industry is a completely other level of influences.
Oh my God!
Everything's great. Everything's a 10 out of 10. Yeah.
There's 40 times the amount of influencers in the food thing. Everyone's a food influencer.
Yeah. We have this guy Poppy Eats in Charlotte. He's legitimate. He tells it like it is. He doesn't sugarcoat anything, and I respect him on it. But most of these other guys, you think there's a problem with influences in the cigar industry? Nothing about the food industry.
We have a couple of good local guys who tell it like it is.
Yeah.
They'll say it if it's not good.
Best pizza reviewer of all time, though, still Dave Portnoy. What is
No,
all?
no, he's
Oh,
hard.
it's
He's
my-
not. He is not. He doesn't know how to review a pizza. One bite. That's not how you don't. He doesn't know pizza if it's one. You know, pizza's all about the whole experience.
He says one bite, but then you watch him eat the whole slice. He makes a
like
bite
three
out of the
bites.
crust.
Yeah, but here's the other thing that he misses with his. How much fills you? Like one thing I put in those food reviews, I want to know if it fills me up or not. He doesn't do that, and I think that's a big miss on his part.
Because it's pizza. Like, all pizza fills you up. It's pizza. Like, think about what you just said.
No, not all pizza fills you up. Not all pizza
What are you
fills
talking about? It's all dough. like,
And cheese and fat.
yeah, like, what are you talking
Look,
about?
I find him entertaining. I like what he does for small business. I don't think he's a great reviewer. His scoring system is as random as some of the people we see in the cigar industry, if not more random. What's his scoring criteria? He has no scoring criteria.
He
Come
doesn't
on.
have to have a score. He's a billionaire. He can do whatever he wants.
If we saw a guy in the cigar industry doing that, we would shit on this guy, and you know it, Matt.
Yeah,
Come
I know.
on.
It's
We
different.
would. We would. Okay.
It's different in the
What do you
cigar.
mean getting
It's different in the cigar industry, though. You know what he's
gotta
doing.
you gotta
It
get ready
doesn't.
at 90,
You know,
yeah.
it doesn't really matter. You know, but believe me, there's plenty of guys out there, and I'm not even gonna mention the names. But if you're smart enough, you can figure out who it is. The guys who consistently get on their knees and use both hands. We all know who they are. We all know who they are. Go look at. You don't have to. I did. This is my show. It's my program. Go look at their websites. Go look at all their scores. You'll find it hard to find something below a 90. And people will say, well, but that's their, that's their range. I'm not even going to waste my breath. I think I've said enough on that topic. But you can figure out who they are. They all do it, and they all hate that I say it, but whatever. It's fine. You do you. So, we're not too far. My point is, we're not too far off, Coop. We have some of those people.
Well, if Dave Portnoy was in this business, we'd kill him. We'd fry this guy. Medium, you guys would fry him.
Let's talk about what we're smoking before we get too
Yes.
far into this. Our nightly kickoff brought to you by Blue Smoke of Dallas. And what's funny about that is Blue Smoke of Dallas is owned by perhaps the biggest fan of this show. And I have not seen him here yet, so don't know what's going
He's
on.
getting ready. Look, he may be doing some stuff. Like, he's coming to North Carolina for Bear's wedding next weekend, so there's a lot
Okay.
going on next week. So I think he may be getting some stuff ready, in fairness.
Okay. All right.
So
We
we'll
can't
always
call him.
remember that Bear's anniversary is Nicole's birthday, so it will be very easy
Very easy.
now. Yeah, because Nicole's a 4th of July woman. So.
Ugh, I don't want to think about my birthday.
You know, Coop, but props to you for remembering that.
Oh,
I know,
yeah.
thank you,
I
Coop.
have a good. That's an easy one to remember, I got to be honest with you.
Well-
I think she's the only one I know born on July 4th, that's why.
Well, in terms of us, right? So if you know what Nicole's birthday is, then you know what the other thing is, right? Because it's pretty damn close.
The anniversary.
Yeah.
The anniversary, is it the 2nd?
Nope. It was after her
Not-
birthday.
Was it the 7th?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
You were there. One of the few in the
Bear and
crowd.
It's funny, Bear and I were talking about that day the other day because that was the day I was with you guys went to go get pictures, right? And I made a rare appearance at Bar Luca where I was talking to Rocky Patel, and that was the famous thing where Rocky, all the people surrounding me talking to Rocky saw Sokka and ran off to talk to Sokka.
He walked
Which is
in.
a
I
true
know,
story.
I know. I'm here. I brought some cigars. And they might be okay. They might be okay. I don't know. We'll see if anyone buys them. If they don't, well, I'll smoke them for myself. Whatever. I like them. That's all that matters to me.
Who loves you, Rock? That's it. That's it. Who loves you? Because I was the only one who stayed there with Rocky.
Coop, it's great to see you. Oh, look, here comes Steve Saka. There's, Steve.
What
And
the
then everyone walks away.
We had an awesome interview. We had him on Tuesday night, and he was awesome. I got to thank Rocky. This guy came back from Honduras, did the interview, and had to fly to Sweden the next morning, and he did our show. So I was
Wow.
very grateful. That's the first time I've had Rocky on a show. So since Stogie Geeks.
Really?
So, yeah, we had him on Stogie Geeks in 2015. Yeah, I just haven't been. He's tough to get.
I was gonna say, I saw he was on your show, and I don't know why. I assumed he's been on like in the last couple of
No,
years.
he gave me shit too, and he's right. We haven't. He's tough. What happens is we've reached out, and then he's sometimes slow to get back, or I'm slow to get back, and it's no one's fault. Like, it's probably more my fault. I should be more diligent on it. But finally, I just said, look, I'm going to make sure this happens this year, and I did. So we picked this date, and but he's tough to get an opening day on his calendar. It was very tough. So, but yeah, he was great. So.
Yeah. Well, that's
So, yeah,
great. I mean,
but back to it. Jay, I think is getting ready because he's going to be out of town for a few days probably with the wedding.
okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. I know he'll catch it on the flippity flip.
Yeah.
Good old Michael Scott quote right there. Well, what are you smoking, Coop? I'll let you go first. You got some little Frecto over there?
I have a cigar I got off the rolling table at the Fuente factory in February. Pro cigar. This is a black pink.
Unbanded off the rolling table.
Unbanded off the rolling table. Yes.
That's a collection piece right there.
Yeah, it's time to smoke it. Otherwise, it's already about we're getting close to 5 months already, so it's time. I always forget which size this is, but this is like Don't ask me which size this is, because I'll embarrass myself.
That's
But,
okay. I wasn't gonna ask.
Yeah, but I know someone's gonna ask me.
Yeah,
But yeah,
someone
this
in the
is
comments. I'll tell you what. I'll let you dig for it.
I think this is the happy ending actually. So yeah, this
Okay.
is the happy ending. Yep.
Nicole, what do you have over there?
I have the Undercrown, the LT Gray Dominicano.
Oh, the new one. Well, one of the new ones.
Yes.
Yep.
Got some good ash going over there. Some decent construction.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of it so far? Be honest.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm not
So,
through the first third
were you
yet.
getting a lot of citrus? Did you get a lot of citrus off the beginning?
Yeah, it's very light. I'm also getting like hints of cocoa,
Yep.
like dried cocoa. It's
Yep.
smooth. It's definitely smooth, but I'm curious to see how it opens up as I continue.
Yeah, I
smoking
want to
it.
see how it opens up too, but kind of similar to it. I had a lot of citrus zest at the beginning, which I'll just leave it at that to see how it progresses. I don't want to influence it. I just smoked this on a previous podcast I recorded. That's why I'm like very interested in Nicole's thoughts.
Yeah.
I've smoked a few of them. They're not bad. But I decided I hadn't smoked the other new Drew Estate cigar that came out. I don't want to say at the show, but well, I mean, I guess it did. I mean, technically, the Buenos Noches, the Dominicana.
The Deadwood.
I think
Deadwood.
that was pretty good. I like that cigar.
Yeah,
What do you think so far?
it's not bad. I will be honest with you when it comes to sweet cap. I can be a little picky. I don't like too much, and the first few puffs on this, it was like a spoonful of honey right out of the jar, just like that rich, like when you eat a little bit too much honey and you're just like, you can like feel it in your teeth. Not to say that it was gross or anything like that. It was stronger than I
mean,
expected.
Deadwood, the whole line though is known.
It
for
was
those
stronger than I expected.
Yeah. Like I think to Fat Bottom Betty, and that one had like a very sweet.
Yeah. And it's been a while since I smoked all those other ones. So
Yeah.
I don't remember the original Dominicana having it that much. Maybe it's just been a little while, but other than that, it's good. I mean, it's a good Maduro. It's definitely sweet. The construction's really nice on it. It burns very well. A lot of smoke, which is usually typical with Drew Estate. They always seem to burn well. Good construction, a lot of smoke production, a lot of flavor, not very flat. And so far, I'm kind of just at the end of that first third, and so far it's nice. It's nice. We'll see where it goes from here, but so far so good. Yeah, look at all that smoke. Look at all that smoke. I'll tell you, right after I hit this really quick, once again, we are with our friends from ST Dupont, shaking up the legacy, featuring our new I don't have them, so I do.
Yes,
I'll
you
let
do.
I'll let Nicole have it. Just keep it dry. The new SD Dupont table lighters. Look at those. Look at those huge monstrosities.
Huge.
The only thing
They
I would
are
say that they
huge.
should come out with is maybe some sort of like matte like decal to put on it so you don't see the fingerprints, almost like a screen protector.
Yeah, I think they're gonna probably start to do a lot of the art collections with it.
I think they will
Yeah.
too. I think they will.
But yeah, it's funny, Nicole. When I was going through, because I'm reviewing it, one thing I did ding it on is it's very fingerprint prone.
But even I know you can't really do much for the sides, but even if they had like some sort of like cutout to protect that you could stick on it, people would pay for that.
Yeah.
They'd pay extra for it. I
Yeah,
would.
I can see that.
If you're gonna spend that much on the lighter, I would pay for like
Yeah.
especially a big one like this. I'd pay, just like your phone.
Yeah.
You're gonna put a screen protector on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very true.
Les, get on it.
Les has his hands full right now. He's got a lot going on. He's running wild right now. He's got enough things to worry about. He's trying to work on getting his orders out from show this year, and he's already working on new products coming in for next year. I mean, that man doesn't sleep. If there's anyone that doesn't sleep as much as Coop doesn't sleep, it's Les Man.
I met Mrs. Man.
Ooh.
Oh yes,
I met Mrs. Man before. She was fun.
Yep.
Yes.
Very nice. Yep. I met Mrs. Les Man. Yep.
yes, she is.
Very nice.
She's fun. She's awesome.
We shared many a drinks one night.
Yes, we've met her a few times. Or I know I've met her a few
Very
times.
nice. Really nice woman. Yeah, she's great. Good.
Yeah.
Her and Les are a great couple. Yep.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. I know this is a brand that Les loves too. Perdomo cigars, featuring our 2025 cigar of the year, the Perdomo Legacy Nicaraguan Shade-Grown Epicure. Also our 2025 Factory of the Year, Tabacalera Perdomo. Perdomo cigars stand for quality, tradition, and excellence. And once again, I wanted to give a shout out to our friends at Nova Cigars, who are with us every week, helping us make Nova big. That's right. Featuring the new Falcon cigar. Or Falco? Is it Falco or Falcon? I can't even remember. I think it's Falcon. I think it's Falcon. I don't know if you've had it yet, Coop. That was
I have
one-
not.
I might have some. I can't remember.
Check your box.
It's a big box. Slowly going through. I got people keep messaging me, asking me, "Did you smoke this yet? Smoke this yet?" I'm like, I'm working on it. You see this box? You see this box? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Falcon.
It's all in
I'm
there.
Sure it is. But I want to say it's something else besides Falcon.
I think there's two. I think they had like another smaller format cigar. I can't remember for sure. I know the Falcon was one of the. I think it was like the main release that they had. I have to check. I think I might have them in there. But anyway, those are some of the people that help make our show happen. So I want to give a shout out to them and say thank you. Coop, one of the things we talked about this week. I know we talked about this topic on last Spare Notes. And it was a lot of we talked about what's going on in New York. In the bill that was introduced and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to follow up with that a little bit. With the current state of affairs when it comes to legislative stuff, legal stuff, tobacco bans and all the the negative stuff that impacts people that nobody wants to hear about, nobody wants to talk about, but it gets a blind eye turned to it, and when it goes into effect, everyone's complaining about like, oh man, I can't buy those. I used to buy those a box every 2 weeks, and they've gone up like $60. Like, this is why you gotta pay attention. You can't just sit back and be like, it's boring. Like, you gotta do something. You gotta sign petitions, talk to people, talk to the CRA, talk to the PCA. All the competing cigar groups out there. Which is funny to me because you would think that everyone would want to work together. But I think that there's a lot of egos out there when it comes to these groups. Everybody wants to be the group that's the hero that saved the day. So they can't give anything to the other groups. Which is mind-boggling to me.
I just saw an example of that this week. Yeah, which I didn't really get.
What did you see?
A little pet. All right. So I was up at the Titans of Tobacco event, and listen, I think this was a really, really good event. I was very fortunate enough to be able to cover that event. Um, and the key thing with this event, and I want to be really clear on that, is it was a fundraiser for CRA, Cigar
Okay.
Rights of America. It was a fundraiser for it. Okay. Now after the event, Tobacconist of Greenwich, great retailer by the way, sent out a press release with their recap of the event. And here's my policy, first of all, on I'll tell you what my policy is. If I am not at the event, I do not publish a press release like that. I have to be at the event in that case, right?
Fair.
So, but I don't begrudge anyone who would publish this, right? But as long as they publish it pretty accurately, right? So I saw a few people cover it who weren't there, and that's fine. I did see, and look, I'm gonna say this: I was disappointed in the PCA when they published this, and I'll just be nice. I'll try to be nice about it. The way they wrote this was they were talking about. I'll read this word for word. Tobacconist of Greenwich CEO Michael Carfagno and President and CEO Dylan Austin hosted the event. The evening concluded with a live auction featuring 18 collector lots curated by participating cigar families. So there was a lot of auction stuff donated. Organizers reported the auction generated more than $228,000, with proceeds benefiting industry advocacy efforts. Do you see a problem with that? They didn't mention CRA at all in the article.
Of course not.
They lifted CRA. So listen, I'm being really nice here, guys. I think it's good that you publish this, right? I think it's good. You got to put CRA in. This doesn't need.
It's their event.
It's their event, okay? It's their event. You need to do that, okay? I'm sorry. I think that was a miss, and
Or don't
I
talk
understand
about
that
it.
each of the organizations have their own fundraising efforts. Okay, I get that, and I would say this: if CAA published something on what CRA did or PCA did, I'd be saying the same thing. This is not the big. But let's just be transparent. What this event was about. This was, and if you read the Cooper article, it talks about how a lot of the guys who were at that event were founders of CRA and stuff like that. And Carlito's speech talks all about the CRA. I'm just saying that was a CRA event, and I think it's wonderful PCA published it, but you got to publish what it was for that reason. And
100%.
You have to.
For me,
I don't know why they weren't there, but maybe I can understand them not there because it wasn't their event. So I can understand that, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Yeah. And Josh, I'll apologize to you ahead of time. I'm sorry to say it, but that should have been published correctly. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this much too. I mean, do you remember when Oh, there it all is. That's weird. Oh, I found what I was looking for earlier. Do you remember? Was it 2 years ago now, when the meta decision came down, like the final? And all three of them
put
sent
out a different press release.
They put out a press release.
Yep.
And each one of them wrote it
credit.
like, look at the job we did. They all did. They all wrote it like, we're the ones that did it.
Well, I think the BCA took credit for one too.
Oh yeah, I remember them. So 4 of them. There were 4 press releases that went
We're
out.
all taking credit.
And they're like, look at what we did. No offense to the PCA. No offense. Gabby Cappy's a good guy. But, come on. I mean, come on.
You sat in on meetings, and I think it's great, and I applaud anyone who sits in on takes time out of their meetings. But
Yeah.
You sat in it. You weren't driving strategy. Let's be real.
CAA,
you didn't do a good job of publicizing it.
And the CAA, the CRA, and the PCA all have different agendas. As much as they're all like, we're for cigar rights, and they all are to a degree. I think CRA and PCA more so. The CAA, I think, has is very different than both of those groups, but all three of them are different from each other.
I think they do some very good advocacies. I think they all do good advocacy stuff. They just have different. There's different agendas in the cases.
Yes. But they all, like, here's another example. It drives me, and I don't want Pete and Rocky and all those guys to be upset at this, and it's really not on them. You know, I know they're big on this because they do it every year at the show. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the CRE meeting.
They do the CRE meeting in Rocky's booth on, like, day 2.
They did in Fuente's booth this year, I noticed.
At, like, the end of the day.
They went in the inner part. Yeah, they went in the inner part of Fuente's booth.
And it's like they get to the trade show and they have a CRA meeting. And it's like, you know, and it's like this, like, I'm not shitting on the manufacturers per se for, like, you know, I get like we're all together, like they're 100% right. If you guys are all under one roof, you know, it's not often during the year you're all under one roof. You should all get together. But I put it on the CRA and the PCA. Why is it that the PCA spends all this time putting the whole show together? They put these seminars together. They put these press conferences together, and the governor comes and this and that. And the CRA is going into the back of a booth after the show floor closes to have like a little huddle. And it's like
before the show floor closes, actually, but yeah.
But it's like, why is it that they can't just be like, you know what, on Friday from like 3 to 3:30, Scar Rights of America meeting. Boom, let them come in.
Or they rent out a lounge or something.
Something.
I have actually said I agree with that.
Why? Like, why? Why does the PC and again,
I blame
like,
both of them. I blame both of them on that.
I do blame both of them.
Yeah, that should happen off trade show floor hours. I've said this a lot too, because one is, you know what? That's time you're taking away from your customers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's difficult to watch. It's difficult to watch. And the thing is like it's the PCA trade show. That's PCA's event. Okay.
Right.
It's PCA's event. It's their thing. So they're the host, right? If you're the host, right? Why are you not taking a little bit of time to make sure that the other cigar rights group out there, who none of them are perfect. There's a lot I could say about all of them.
Yeah.
But they do what they do, and they're there. They do something, right? So, I mean, you know, it's not like... But, like, you know the CRA guys are coming. You know that they're going to get a dozen manufacturers or so together to have a little meeting. Just give them the fucking space. Like, make a little bit of an organized thing. Why are you like, do it on your own?
Even CRA could do that too, though. Like I said,
they could.
They could rent a space. They could make it more formal.
They could.
Because then you're just having these powwow.
So again, like to Coop's point, like to both points, but like Coop said it, like it is on both of them. But I think the first failure is on PCA for being a bad host with it. Okay, fine, they want to be a bad host. But then the CRA, like, if the PCA is not going to help out, then do something. Put something together.
I
somewhere
think the
else.
Problem is, I don't think this is PCA's problem. I'll be honest with you. I put this more in the CRA. CRA, you need to be getting your member people to do this after the trade show. That's on them. It's their meeting. But, okay, if PCA is providing the host, the PCA basically is just saying you could use the floor space at someone's booth. But I put that one more on CRA. They need to be getting their members. That's my opinion on that.
So you know, once in a while he's got a good one. Alan said the state
that's not a good one.
It's not?
I'll tell you, because it doesn't take the principles away. It's mostly those that are attended by retailers.
Oh, okay.
And
right.
some of them are during the trade show hours, and some aren't. But no, it's not taking. Rocky's not going to a North Carolina retailers state association meeting. This is taking away the principles from the booths, where you already have limited time. And I'm not even talking about media. I'm talking about your retail customers who do want to see some of these people, and they're offered a meeting, which I think is a problem. Like, you know, this year we left the trade show. We left the trade show at 5:00, an hour early when that happened, because there's no point. Everyone we wanted to meet with, and plus we were tired. I'll be honest with you. We could have probably met with some people who weren't in the meeting, but we were tired. But we made that decision. We don't schedule anything from that 5 to 6 anymore on that day too.
Well,
Like, thank you, Joseph.
Every article on YouTube has something to say about it. Yeah.
I applaud them for covering it. I do, but that you have to be transparent what that event was for. And it was, believe me, that was a CRA fundraiser, is what that was set up as.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, it's disappointing to see, people not. I don't know.
I was disappointed. I think they could have did better with that one, and I'll give them a chance to do better. But yeah, look. I criticize any media outlet who said this, right? So I'm not trying to pick on anybody. If I saw another media outlet, dude, I'd criticize them. No, because the press release was very clear it was a CRA fundraiser. So it's not, like I said, if you're not at the event, I can understand it. But if you're getting a press release and it says clear it's a CRA fundraiser, and you decide to lift the language, that's a deliberate move. There's no way you could tell me any other way.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a swing and a miss. That's the first.
Listen. I have to call things as I said. That one. Look, if you're going to be in the media game, you got to make yourself open to criticism on the media, and that's a criticism I give to any media brand who did that. That was shoddy reporting in that case, because it was put right in front of you what that was.
I agree.
Yeah, I was disappointed, is what I'll say. Is it the worst thing in the world? No, but I was disappointed. I was happy they covered it. I was like, wow, they're covering this. Is great,
That was the first swing and a miss.
Oh, you have another one.
Well, maybe it's not a swing and a miss. But it's a. I feel like, and I know every time I say this, you get all the diehard. And again, I'm not against the PCA. And Josh knows this. I've told him,
they've done a great. Look, they've done a great.
I know you've done a great job. I've said it so many times. Josh is doing a great job.
Yeah.
But it's like you say 100 positive things, and no one. It's the same. Well, it doesn't matter what it is. You say 100 positive things, and everyone's like, whatever. You say one negative thing, and you're like, oh, you hate the PCA, and it's like,
they all remember the negative thing. Yeah.
No, I don't. I say more positive thing. 98% of my comments with the PCA are positive. 1% of them are like negative. But it's also me being like,
yeah,
you bring this to your attention so you can be better about it, because you are doing pretty good. You got some momentum. Let's keep it going. Let's not stumble and trip on a pothole here. And
right.
So I think that the PCA trade show has come a long way. I think we can all agree. It's come a long way.
It came back from the dead.
Yes.
They really have, and it's gone to the next level with Josh. I got to be honest with you. Yeah.
Over the last several years, better and better.
Absolutely. It's a world-class trade show now. Yeah.
Let's all agree.
Yep.
They brought in Antoine to do media and communications, which I'm not going to waste any more time talking about that. And they've invested a lot into international, which is, I understand why they're spending so much time outside the border. I think I understand the concept, because on the one hand, it's like, yes, things happen in other countries. They don't have the kind of supports that we have here. And the other problem is, if things go into effect in other countries, then it comes here, or the threat of it coming here, which is true. And Pat used to say this on the show. He's like, problem is it's not just the United States. Like, if England does something stupid, if Spain does something stupid, it's out there. It's on the global stage. Everybody sees it, and then it's like, oh, really? Bad ideas spread like cancer. It's like the smoking bans. California, you can't smoke anywhere. It was like, oh, shit. Now you can't smoke anywhere in the country, really. This is how these things happen. Tobacco 21, same thing. Now Tobacco 21 is everywhere. This is how these things start. I get that. But you have to ask yourself, are we spending too much time outside the border? What about what's going on here? There's a lot of intense things going on here that I don't think enough people are aware about. Yeah, the whole meta thing with the FDA, that was a big win. But we can't just be like, we're all done, let's move on. No. Because the problem is that happens, and it's like, all right, we lost that battle. Let's regroup. And I think what's happening is exactly what you and I and a few other people like Charlie, who writes a lot about this stuff, all said the same thing. Okay, the FDA, the federal government lost that battle. What are you going to see now? I think you see the states individually go after it. Oh, and now we're seeing it happen. A lot of states are individually going after the generational bans that we saw overseas, bad ideas coming to the U.S., as we talked about in the last show, the state of New York now introducing it into a bill. It's not in, but like it's been introduced. Massachusetts, I think, at the state level has introduced the idea. That's another one. That's how these things happen. And I feel like we're not hearing people like talking about it a lot. And everyone in the response to the PCA is, oh, we know about it. We're working on it. And I would assume they are. But I think I'd like to hear a little bit less about like all these events overseas and having that be the forefront of what's being represented by the PCA, and have a little bit more of like, hey, just, today, like, we, even if it's not a big thing, the point is to keep it fresh on people's minds. Like, oh, well, today we had another meeting on the generational thing, that people talk about. Even if there's not a lot going on, just fucking say something. You let people like be aware. You make one statement like, oh yeah, this bill is introduced in New York. Oh wow, that's scary. And then life goes on. People got 100 things going on. I can't even remember what I did yesterday morning. People forget. And then, not enough people, do like calls to action or speak up and say something. Or there's a lot of things that can happen from that. When you don't have a lot of people talking about it, like bring some, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's in. And it's like, oh, did you hear what happened in New York? Oh my God, that's nuts. And it's like everyone's like oblivious to it. And it's not most people's fault either. I'd like to see more time and energy spent being, and I get it, it's not sexy stuff. But, I mean, if you don't talk about it at all, I mean, what's the point?
Yeah, listen.
You can take that however you want to take it, too. I mean, I don't,
So I could go two ways with that. I could dissect the international stuff, and then I could decipher the communication stuff.
Sure.
I've supported the PCA doing the Dubai show. I've been on the record, and I've supported it, right? I think it's a good thing.
As do I.
I do. And my personal thing would have been put your energy, if you get as your main international effort around that. You have these educational initiatives going on like in Greece and Mexico. All right, but I think it would have been better if you had more education initiatives in the U.S. That's just my opinion, too, on that. The communications where I think this is where you have to look at optics, right? The day the New York thing gets announced, you're sending out a piece on Greece. I'm sure that was scheduled, right? But you have to look at the optic. It didn't look good, is what I'm saying. Because you sent something out in Greece that didn't acknowledge the only person that acknowledged the New York thing was another publication, Cigar Aficionado. So I just thought the optics looked bad that day, right, when they did that. And I think these are things that are easily fixable, in my opinion. Because no, I do think by the way, I think the PCA is on top of this as well as CRA. So that's not even the issue. But you want to just give good optics, is what I'm saying. And the good optics would have been, hey, you know what? Even if they promoted the aficionado article, we have this article out, and this article came out. It was an aficionado. As much as I may not like that, right? But get something out there on New York that day, and instead the Greece thing goes out that day. It just was bad optics in my book, and you got to be able to do better with your communication on that.
I agree.
That should not have happened. Yeah, that shouldn't have happened. Something went out the next day, and it was a call to action. And yeah, so that's just my feeling. The optics, because if you have good optics, guess what? You'll be forgiven for a lot less, because at least it kind of shows you're on the ball with that.
I forgot. Vince had reached out to me, wanting to talk about some of this stuff too, and I just had so much going on. I never got back to him. But I remember he did ask. I remember this a few months ago. He actually messaged me about this issue. PCA did not cover the tax decrease in Kentucky. I asked and was told, "Oh, I forgot." I've said it once. I've said it maybe a couple times now on the show over the years. But I'll say it again because if I don't say it enough and it doesn't, people are bitching that I'm talking about it. Well, then I know I got my point across, and then maybe it'll be taken seriously. But for me, one of the biggest things goes back to a few years ago at the trade show when the generational stuff was first starting to show up, and it was at the municipality, the town level, right? Brookline, Massachusetts, the first area in all of the United States that actually pushed a generational ban through. But before it went through, it was proposed. And I went up to Glen Loop at the show. It was in the Rocky Patel booth. I'll never forget it. And I asked him, I said, how come, people keep asking me about it, there's not a lot, not a lot being said, it's kind of quiet, but they know it's there, people want to know from the PCA. And he turned around and he looked at me, he's like, I'll tell people to calm down, stand by, relax. We know about this thing. Bang, goes in.
Okay, so, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, but I think you got to get everyone aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah, but people are asking, what's going on? That's the response I get from the PCA. And then shortly after, bang, goes in. People are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just saying.
Yeah. I had to make a decision in the last year of cutting some things out of news.
Yeah.
And pretty much there's very little I'm going to chase down on state stuff at this point. So the only thing I did chase down was some of the New York stuff because I talked to the CRA guys at Titans and Tobacco. But and it was a good conversation having in person. But in general, I can't chase this down anymore. And to be honest with you, if Halfwheel, who's really good at what they do, once they have it, you know what? Let them have it. They have a huge advantage. They've done a lot of work. I can't do it at this point. I don't have the time or the bandwidth right now to do it. We have so much other stuff going on right now.
To cover it properly, this is not like you get a press release. This is Charlie, and I'll tell you how Charlie does it. Charlie is, first of all, he's connected in with every little nook and cranny all over the country.
Right.
He also, Charlie uses. I'm not very familiar, so I'm not. Pat actually explains it better, but Charlie uses a system that you can go on and review. Yeah, Pacer.
Pacer. I have it too. I have it too, but I don't search it every day. But I have it. Yes.
Charlie goes through Pacer, which allows you to search through official documents filed in courts all over the place. It's public records and information, but he goes through that. He combs through it, and he finds stuff, and he reads it firsthand. And then he writes his articles on it, makes some phone calls. That takes a lot of time. And doing cigar media on its own is a lot of work. It does. It costs money.
You pay for each page. So I noticed. That's why, again, so if I know a big court case, what I'll do is occasionally check in on the court case. I'm not going to check in it. Let's put it like this. I usually get, you got to be careful because sometimes those court documents are tough to read. And I'm not a lawyer. I got into trouble with that once. So you got to be a little careful with that. But the proper way to do it for a major piece of state or federal legislation is there should be a media kit put together by the trade associations. A media kit on the bill explaining the bill in an easy to digest form, explaining the position, right, and explaining the call to action. That's what should be spelled out. I understand you can't do that for every piece of legislation, but for big ones, that's what should have been it. That should have been done for California, Texas, these types of things which have long-term ramifications. I would have loved to have seen a press kit. And guess what? And I said this to the CRA guys, actually. That's what you guys need. You need a press kit to get this stuff out and then have those basic things in there so we don't have to kind of feed through the you guys have already read through these documents a lot better than I'm going to do it. So put a press kit together on that.
Right. Yeah, here's a good example right here. Vince said, I know you're busy, but I need help in Indiana, and I'll do it myself if I can't receive help.
What is going on in Indiana, actually? I'm sorry, I don't even know. I'm really asking.
Yeah, Vince, refresh everybody with what's going on in Indiana.
I mean, we don't even know that. We should, and that's not your
perfect example. This is an example of a good audience member who's bringing something good to the table during the show.
Yeah,
so, Vince,
but I'm actually
please,
curious what this is,
Yeah, Vince, please,
I wish some of these, like PCA, they should come out with like a monthly newsletter with everything that's going on in the country, because I know you can sign up for their, like, if you live in an area. For example, we're still registered to whatever goes out for Massachusetts, and so occasionally, not every week, not every month, not any, it's maybe like once or twice a year, they'll send some sort of update if something is valid.
Yeah.
But to just bring light, there's no publication shining light aside from probably Charlie on every single thing across
Well,
the country.
Nexus Lexus is not better than Pacer. Next. Pacer's the best, trust me.
I don't know. And even when we lived in Watertown, that's when the generational band was going in Brookline, and we barely heard anything about it. And we lived one town over.
Yeah.
From where it was happening.
And even though it's small, I think that's important, that one. And look, I get you can't put every single local municipality thing out. I get that. But I think for some of the key battles, these need to be, and that's what I would be. Again, we could debate what the media should be doing from the trade association. Media should be doing. They should be doing that. That's part of, and get your positions out there on this stuff. And I've said when there's calls to action, have letter templates ready to go, so people aren't writing ridiculous comments. And we've seen these people submit wrong comments when comments are being submitted. Get all this stuff ready to do that. And I understand it takes a little time. You can't do it overnight, but still.
Form association. From 24 to 30%, I'm getting a group of legislators together for a tax cap. Sent email and chirp. So there's so they're trying to put in a tax cap?
I think so.
Okay. So there's no Indiana Cigar Association, is what I'm getting from that. He's trying to put one together so that they can help push this. Yeah, I mean, well, and again, I will say, there's no excuse on PCA here, but PCA is not responsible for individual, like, state associations. Those usually are self-run.
Yeah.
They support them and they help them, but it's not really their job to make them.
Yeah.
That's kind of like something that the retailers, like, for example, here in New Hampshire, we have a great one. Cigar Association New Hampshire. It's Garofalo, Kurt Kendall, Eric from Castro's, Tobacco Haven's in there. I think the other Castro's, Sebastian, I think he's part of that. If not, he should be. I think the guys from Federal are in there. But, they band together and they do this shit together. Garofalo's at the State House every time there's anything going on. Every time he goes. That's not because he has to go. Well, it is, but it's not because, he goes because he cares, even if he's the only one that goes, because it affects everybody in the state of New Hampshire. And, he wants to help keep New Hampshire the great state that it is. So anytime anyone brings anything up, he's there. You'll never go to a meeting and Dave's not there. I'm telling you right now. If there's something tobacco related, David Garofalo is there. Won't miss it for the world. And he'll get on his soapbox and he'll sing his song very loudly. He will. And unfortunately, not every state has that. A lot of shop owners, they sit around and cry when, I got to charge more for tax. It's like, well, then do something about it.
Well, the thing is, New Hampshire's also already so friendly to tobacco, so...
We're trying to keep it that way.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So it's easier to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Because once these things go into effect, it's just a snowball where they're just going to keep going into effect.
We want to do more. We just don't have the bandwidth for all the fights. I don't know if he's referring to PCA or if he's referring to, like, the state level.
And I agree with... I don't know, but I agree with that in general. That's why I think the strategic. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in general, it's a true statement, but it goes back to everyone was not so much the consumers, but everyone was pissed last year when I commented on California and Texas, and the word that I heard through the grapevine was, no one said it to me, but I was right. They just did, they hated that I told everybody, but...
I can give you what CRA told me about New York when I talked to them.
Sure.
because I wrote about this. There's no secret. So they were really great. Mike and Cody were awesome when I asked them. So they said to me, they said, this is unlikely to go through this year for 2 reasons. Number one is it happened very late in the legislative calendar, and it's probably just not going to get there. And number 2 is that there's no Senate bill that was introduced, right? So
Okay.
unlikely. Never say never, though. They're more worried about this next year. That's what they told me, because one is they could get introduced this very early in the year, and 2, this could get shoved under another piece of legislation. So the answer was that they're probably not reason to panic now, but reason to be on top of this is what they told me. So I felt very confident after the conversation I had that, okay, they kind of get that they get this, but next year is probably the year this has to be something on the radar for sure. So there's a lot of time to get resources ready for this, is what I'm saying.
100%.
Yeah, and Glenn's on too, so I see Glenn on. So thank you, Glenn, for coming on. So like I said, I think they're on top of this. I'm worried because I naturally worry I'm a panic guy, right? So I worry about everything, right? I'm a guy
Me
who
too.
wants to worry. Yeah.
CigarAction.org has prepared letters and background on every major state issue in the nation. And that's great.
Yeah.
But do people know about it? That's my... It's not so much that they're not doing anything about it. It's... enough people realize that? Do they know about it?
I guess it's a hard job. I guess it's a really hard job.
Well, it is, but I could
stage,
make
yeah,
the
it's a
argument.
hard
But I could
job.
make the argument that maybe
Yeah.
instead of doing reviews and exclusive stories on behalf of the Premium Cigar Association, maybe their focus in their media department should be on getting this information out there and not writing reviews, because that's what we do. Right? Would you agree with that?
I agree. Listen, I don't quite understand.
I know no one wants to hear it, but it's true.
Look, I agree with that. I don't get it. So I mean, it's just my opinion.
Why am I
think that's
reading cigar reviews from the Premium Cigar Association? I'm not hearing more about what Glenn just wrote in a comment on a video.
Well, side note, I'm going on right now. I am on CigarAction.org, and I'm signing up because I didn't know it was a thing until now. But I am curious,
Yeah.
Glenn, if you're listening, because I'm signing up, and it's only having me put in what my address is. So my question is, if I wanted to hear about absolutely everything
Ooh, good
through
point.
email, is there a way, do I have to sign up for like every single state? I guess that's the only thing. Like if I wanted to just get alerted for every single thing that is posted to CigarAction.org. So I'm just curious. Because I don't want it just for where we live. I want to know it for every.
Oh, in the
I
whole
would love
country.
alerts to my email for the whole country,
Yeah.
but I might be an anomaly also who wants that
Yeah.
information. So
Yeah, like I said, it really goes back to, I think that there's major piece. I don't think there's a ton of these out there, but major pieces I'd love to see a press kit out there for, is what I would say. Or again, it explains it at second grade level what's going on here. It gives the impacts of this if it goes through, and then it gives the call to action. Like and the position, of course, that the association is trading. That's what I want to see. I should have to go figure that out, or read Charlie's article to figure that out, in my opinion. Just because, again, I'd love to see that, and I'd love to see that from everyone on that, because I think, like I said, that would have really been helpful to me. And Matt, it does take time, and if there's resources, maybe some of the resources are allocated to do stuff like that. That's just me talking, thinking out of my head here. But you're right on that, yeah.
I mean, look, it's nothing I haven't talked about already. You know, I've said it since day one. Why are we watching Antoine, do exclusive stuff and cigar reviews and walking around the show doing media, when there's already enough vetted media who do that dedicatedly already? Why aren't you spending your time? Why aren't they making him utilize the salary that they're giving him on pushing this stuff more and being better than, if all the trade organizations are not going to be like buddy with each other, well, at least try to be better than the others by getting more communication than the others. You know, he
I'm,
should be writing
I'm
more
not.
stuff about it. We're like, oh, advertising it. Like, oh, what is it? Blah, blah, blah. Like, no, we get the, oh, like, we went to this event. And, like, you know, the PCA newsletter email. It's like, oh, we went to this event. And, oh, check out the cigar review we did. It's like, who gives a shit? Like, honestly, sorry.
Yeah,
I know Glenn's not going to
I go
like it.
back.
But, like, what talk about cigar action. Push
I
it.
go back to
Show people.
yeah,
Get it in their face.
yeah.
You
I
got a
think that,
guy on here from
this,
Hold on. You got a guy on here from Indiana who's literally angry right now because he's getting nothing but silence. And like, but this is what I'm talking about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm talking about. That's an example of a consumer who's angry.
There's a lot of educating that I think could go on with this piece as well. I applaud. By the way, I applaud that Josh has put education at the forefront of this trade because we had no education in this trade association. It has come such a long way. But the little things like that, how to form an association, things like that, I would love to see that in some education programs set up. Whether at the trade show, after the trade show, I don't think I want it at the trade show. It's kind of too boring, but you know, virtual seminars and things like that, I think would be valuable to educate your U.S. consumers on stuff like that. Very important because again, a lot of people just don't know. Like, this was a great example we saw tonight.
Well, I mean, you have another example of my argument from last year. Sorry I didn't hear about Texas, or I would have done something. But I'm the asshole because I said it. No one else wanted to.
That's not, yeah, no. I
I'm just saying. I know the messages I got. I know. I heard the things that were said to other people. It all gets back to me. I know. I'm the bad guy. But there it is. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. You know, look, you can't you can't be fake about this stuff, though, Coop. I know
listen,
it's uncomfortable,
but
you got to be honest about it.
But I like what Daniel's saying, and again, this is where I think good education could come as a result of a lot of these things. Like trade groups are a great way to get involved, and how you kind of get people is you know, they need some education and enablement on how to do that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's the stuff. These are the types of things I think that, like I said, I'd love to see the education program. I don't know necessarily how important it is to educate people on wrapper, binder, filler at this point. Is what I'm saying. You can always do. There's enough shows and publications out there we could do that with. But these are the types of things I think I would love to see education on. I mean, as a personal thing, I don't want to ever hear wrapper, binder, filler again. So, but my retailer should be able to tell me about wrapper, binder, filler. Your retailer can't tell you about wrapper, binder, filler.
If you want to know about wrapper, binder, filler, go to your retailer or come to one of us. We'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
Everything else, people should be doing their
one thing I really love about Dave, right? I think Dave is probably the best at educating. I'm not saying the other ones aren't, but Dave has brought an education feel. Like, you know, you could say you like Cigar Authority or don't like Cigar Authority. What I will say is Cigar Authority provides education.
It does.
They do. It does. So
it's a huge part of why people like that show. I mean, they really get into it.
Huge people like. Yeah. I mean, there's some hijinks, and we all do. I mean, I would say Cigar Coop is not as much education, but more awareness. I think smoking tobacco is more about awareness,
yes,
which is just as important too. I'm not saying, but Dave has a almost a professor-like way of doing it too. Is what I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, you know, and he's been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and to his credit, Jonathan's been up there too. I mean, and they get into specifics. They get into and when they have guests on the show, they incorporate it into the interviews that they do. It's not just about the business. It's like they get into, you know, growing techniques and stuff like that, and blending stuff, and they get into that stuff. And to a degree, we get into some of it too, but the Cigar Authority really breaks it down more, and I think that's why their audience.
They do. They have
is who they are. Yeah. Because they watch that show for that information.
Yeah, I think especially for the retail community, that show was set up by a retailer, so they provide a lot for the retail community, which I think personally we only have one member. Right? We have two members of our team who have retail experience. So, but Bear and Ben are the two.
Right.
So, and we haven't done enough maybe education on stuff with that either, and that's maybe something we should look at too, maybe because there is an opportunity for that. I wish we had a legislative guru on my team. I don't. So that's tough to get hold of those guys. There are not a lot of those guys out there.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. I mean,
Yeah,
Pat was another one.
But Pat's time was limited too. I mean, think about that. Pat's a lawyer, man. It's a demanding job.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, that was the issue with him is just he's if he's not in the courtroom, he's spending all his hour. I mean, that's what lawyers do. I mean, they spend like all their life.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you argue the case, and if you're not in the courtroom arguing the case, you're building the case. I mean, that's what they do. That's why they get paid what they get paid. You know what I mean? At least the good lawyers. You know, I mean, that's it's why lawyers are expensive because they do a lot of work.
Yeah.
But to his credit though, Pat's because of the kind of person he is and being an attorney, and he's a very smart kid. Like book smart especially, he absorbs information very fast and can retain it very quickly, and can also bring it back out very quickly. His knowledge and time in the retail industry, I mean, he didn't do it for 20 years, but he had a lot of knowledge because he spread himself around the store a lot, and he soaked in everything he could, and he remembers all of it. So that's why anything that comes up, he's able to boom, 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 boom. He also knows this stuff very well because he actually studies it. It's kind of like Charlie. Maybe not as much time as Charlie, and he said that, but he, in his spare time, he'll go on, Pacer, and he'll find these documents, and he'll read them himself. And he can interpret, and he can, in fairness...
By the way, and they are tough to interpret, so I got in trouble with that once, so I can tell you that. They're not easy to interpret those things sometimes. So, that's why you really do need someone to know what they're doing with that. And that's why I rely on people who know a lot more than me on that. Yeah.
So I just read Glenn's comment, and he said, each state's retailers are informed regularly on the status of bills and means to engage on and with them. And, to his point, PCA, is primarily for the retailers, right? It's a retail
Yes, it's a retail organization.
And then, Joseph is saying, well, I hear more from Coop and I hear more from Matt than I do from the PCA. So I think there's also this disconnect of, well, I guess, is it the retailer's responsibility, for the advocacy for their states and to get the consumers involved? Because I feel like, I don't know, because I just more like, I think there was a picture from like one of the last like state house things for Massachusetts, and there were like almost no consumers. Like, I think consumers were welcome, but like it was predominantly for I can't remember, but it almost looked like no one was there. And I'm like, if cigar smokers knew, I feel like more people would show up.
Yes, I agree.
So is there not power in numbers if people then get more consumers involved? And who is doing that? Is that on the retailers or is that on PCA? And I guess maybe there's a disconnect there.
We see this problem all the time now. Like, if stuff's going to the retailers and not other people.
Some retailers don't care.
They don't share it.
They go, share it.
Boom.
They don't share it.
Look at how cigar releases go today. Everything goes to the retailer first, not the media. So this is
and sometimes the retailers do nothing with it.
Most of the time they do nothing with it.
Yeah, they do nothing. They put it on the shelf and they poof, like that's it.
They do nothing with it, yeah. And then it's misrepresented and stuff, and then I get a message saying, well, that's how you told the retailer that. So I'd love to see just in general all the channels addressed when these things happen. So that's just that. I've said that, and I think that's the same with all this. I think you need to
that's just me.
Addressing all your channels,
brainstorm, because it's like, well, then, if there's not a consumer advocacy group.
So can I build on what you just said? It's a very good. It's a very good point. It's a very good point.
There's a disconnect.
So if the PCA is like, oh well, it's because we mostly, we're focused on the retailers. Okay, that's fine. That's a good point. But then it goes back to my argument again. But then you're spending all this time trying to create this content for consumers And when we question them, why are you doing this thing with having a media department and doing? Well, we want to connect with the consumers and make sure they're aware of the PCA. That's cool.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. But then, what's the point of that if you're only focusing the really important stuff on the retailers who don't even say anything about it? Like, do you see what I'm getting at here? It's like, well, we're trying to make the PCA more relevant with the consumer base. Okay, that's fine. I get that. Good argument. Good point. With you. But what are you giving them? Cigar reviews? They can already read that with us. If you want to connect with the consumers, then tell them the stuff that you need them to know, because your retailers are not doing it.
They're not doing it right.
I mean, like, does anyone understand the point that I'm trying to make here? It's like Nicole has a good point. It's like, okay, they're focused on retailers. Well, all right. The retailers have proven time and time again that they get information and like, that's cool. I don't do anything about it. I mean, not everyone's like David Garofalo. I know he's not an example of that. Dave said he said to me when I think it was in the California thing, like first really kind of popped up way back in like the very, very beginning. He was like, I was one of the first people that said something about it. And people were mad at me. Here's what he said to me. Yeah, because he's one of the only retailers who actually tells people and stuff. Like, even when it has nothing to do with him. He's like, yeah, you hear what's going on in California? It's like, yeah, this is scary shit. Most retailers don't do that. So if you know that and you can't get them to do it, then you have to find a way on your own to do it. So Nicole makes a good point, but if that's your strategy, it's not really working out for you.
It's
That's all I'm saying, Just trying to help. I mean, I got several consumers I got people messaging me right now privately about this issue, being like, yeah, this is what I've been trying to say all by myself. And I'm like, I know. That's why I brought it up. I got people messaging me about it, being like, what's going on? No one's talking to me.
I mean, half the retailers aren't good at their own, like, marketing and building their own websites, and there's some that are good, don't get me wrong, but there's still a lot of like brick and mortar places that are just old school and don't have a website and don't have,
well, like Glenn just commented, PC encourages each retailer to put a link to cigar action on their respective, but most of them not doing it. Like I get it, but they're not doing it.
You're ultimately, if you take the message directly to people, it's more effective. I mean, especially what I see a lot of is I've seen one thing really good about this PCA is they have really increased their social media awareness, right?
Sure.
You have the mechanisms. You don't have to send an email. You have mechanisms to do this.
Well, and the means and the funds, because the other piece of, I hate to use this term, but like I'm a manager and I use this term when I have to deal and get my employees to do things. I have to spoon feed it to them, because some people just don't take the initiative on their own, right? So how do you spoon feed it to people? Well, you send them stickers to hand out to people in the shop. You send them a media packet with, already made stationery, cards that they can put in their bags. That's something. They could even have someone from PCA go to shops and maybe, do like a cut and light. We're talking about PCA. If they have the means, or if they're traveling around, they might not have the means to do that, but at least like the media packet in the mail might be good. Using their social media, you got to spoon feed it. Literally.
Yeah, you do have to. Yeah, I agree with that. I think, like I said, I think you could really, because like I said, I think other retailers, you're asking them to, if they're teaching math, you're asking them to teach English. Like they're in the business of selling cigars, and they need to be aware of their issues. But the problem is they're not trained to do that. I mean, they're not. That's not their core competency. I think they should be doing it. Don't get me wrong, but that's why I think it's important to take that message. I would take it direct. Even me, that's not my core competency. I don't feel comfortable a lot of times with this because, like I said, I don't feel like I have all the facts sometimes. And it's very complicated to write these articles. And
it's legal jargon, right? Like, you're looking at things. It's the PCA is a group where this is their thing, right?
Yeah. And by the way, this is not just a PCA. It's a CRA and And a
Yeah.
CAA
And that's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what?
And
And thanks for bringing that up too. Yeah, the CRA is just as guilty. Just as guilty.
This is something
They do send out a lot more direct to consumer emails and stuff, but they don't send enough. And their social media is more about being an influencer than being like, this is what's going on.
I think I don't think there's a problem with having like cigar rights influences. It used to be the old ambassador program, which was a good way to do it. Maybe they need to bring that back.
And that's different. To be clear.
Yeah. I think there is. I don't want to see the social media. We remember years ago we saw some of those corny posts that were going up. I don't want to see it corny, is what I'm saying.
But what about incentive-driven things, right? What if they partnered, for example, with like Drew Estate and got Barn Smoker tickets, right? One of the organizations involved in the PCA, and they send it to retailers and they say, "Hey, we're doing a giveaway. Get anyone who signs up for our for cigar, cigarrights.org gets an entry, like as a way to engage." Get more people to join. Like the PCA has those means, and I'm sure there'd be a lot of people who would be involved to get more, to make it more, to bring more excitement to the joining of it, to learn and the awareness, because it's not, the most exciting thing, right? Let's talk about
but it's important though. It is important, and like I said, I do encourage a lot of participation on that. So I used to see some retailers have like computers in their store where they could sign up the CRA. Right there,
Yeah,
you used to.
You're taking away any roadblocks. I do the same, and I hate to say it, but I do the same thing with like Google reviews, right? No one wants to leave your business a Google review unless it's bad. So we do like a raffle. Hey, for the next 6 weeks, anyone who leaves us a Google review gets like a raffle for a free massage and facial valued at like $500. Like it's just something to like get people going. They're more incentivized that way to do it. I don't know.
It's tough. I look at like, here's what I do. I had this discussion with a couple guys this week. Contests. And Matt, we actually talked about this.
Oh yeah.
The most effective contests are something that is so easy to do, right? The harder you make the contest, right, the less entries you're gonna get. It's just a reality. You have to.
People don't want to do anything.
They don't want to do it. When I figured out to make it super easy, right? And I think I had the conversation with Charlie actually. Guess what? My contest numbers went through the roof when I did it. Make it easy and still effective. So you gotta make it easy to do. You can't make it complicated to do stuff like that. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Giveaway. You sign up, you get an entry.
Super easy. And have someone
who doesn't
donate
want
the
free
entry.
stuff. And that's what I'm saying. There would be so many people who I think would be super interested in giving the PCA something to get more, more awareness around the cigarrights.org.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if media is necessarily the most effective way of this either. I think it's more grassroots for some of the stuff you need to do. Media could certainly do their part, but I don't think you could put this all on the media. I think it's got to be grassroots.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, come out with a card that they could put in like people's cigar bags when they buy cigars at the shop that say it. Run it for like a 6-month period, maybe. Send them like little business cards.
Show your CRA membership card.
In.
Show your CRA membership card. It's that easy. Yeah.
Just something.
She's right, you know.
I know. No, she is right.
She's right. She's right.
I'm sometimes right.
And again, and thanks for clarifying. I think it's easy to point at the PCA first because, to their credit, they do a lot more as an organization, and they are out there more. But this is just as much on the CRA too. The CRA, they feel even more non-existent sometimes. They really do. Like, you only hear about them when like something's about to go in, or something does go in, or like there's a victory. It's the thing, is like you don't really hear much from the CRA. But if there's like some sort of victory, they're the first ones to be like, "Oh, I got an email going out. Look at me." And it's like, okay. What about everything else? They love talking about the wins, but they don't like talking about the fight. What are the losses? You got to talk about the losses too, because you got to remind people, like, oh, see what happens when we don't win.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I don't feel we should play any exclusive stories with cigar rights stories. That's just my opinion. Because again, this is something that affects everybody. So, but I just don't think that should happen. And it's just me, And I do, and you may say, well, Coop's complaining. No, I do think exclusives are a part of the media game. I just don't think they should apply to anything with legislation or judicial.
Oh, I agree.
That's
That's
just
different.
that's just me. I do think exclusives are a part of the media game. It's just that's not the area that we should be playing exclusive. And I would never play an exclusive on anything with that. So with something with that, never. If it's a right story. My first thing would be, and I haven't gotten any exclusives, but even if I did, it's it's fair game. Everyone should have that story.
Exclusives.
It's not a competitive thing.
Yeah, exclusives, like, if they're going to exist, should exist with manufacturers on, exclusive coverage on an announcement of a release. Like, I can rationalize with that.
It's public. It is public once it's out there. I've told.
Oh, we know.
If you sell something to retail, I've said if you send something to the retailers, I've told companies, it's public game unless there's an NDA, and it's up to me if I have time to cover it or not. Basically, is what I do. But as far as I'm concerned, it's fair game if you tell a retailer about it.
That's true. I've had people come to me complaining. I've had issues with this in the past. People have, complained like, "Oh, you wrote that story," and it's like, okay, I'm like, "Oh, that was an exclusive." It's public information. It's out there. What do you want me to say? So, I mean, to your point, yeah, it's true. But to your other point, yeah, I don't think that the CRA stuff or the cigar, like there should be no exclusives.
There should be no exclusive with that. That should be, hey.
There's no reason for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely whatsoever.
There isn't.
Who does that benefit?
I don't.
Who, like, really? Like, at the end of the day, who does that benefit? No, that information being exclusive.
It doesn't. Nor do I think the person on the receiving end of that should ask for that. Again, this is cigar rights. This affects everybody. This is not. I get what a media product release is, competitive things that go on and stuff like that. But this is that's just me. I don't think that and that's just me on that.
Yeah, I agree. I think to sum up this conversation, I think that is there work being done in the background? Absolutely. No one's saying that there isn't.
I think there's hard work being done too. Yeah.
No one's saying that there isn't. If anyone takes that away from this, then you weren't paying attention. I want to make sure that's clear because sometimes some people don't use all of their brain when they listen to these shows or they read articles. They just don't. I don't know what it is, but they go the wrong way. So I want to make sure it's clear so that no one can say, "Well, you said no." I made it very clear. Once again, no one's saying that. The specific issue is making sure enough of the right people know about it. And if your knee-jerk response to it is, well, we do this, take a step back and think, well, if we're talking about it, maybe that strategy is not working.
Is it working? I would ask if it's working and how effective it is.
That's the point we're trying to make. And I want to make sure that's just spelled out clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important. And I think there's a lot of, these are complex issues, too. Let's keep that in mind. They're complex issues that, and like I said, I saw questions come in tonight. I don't know the answers to some of them because it's not my core competency.
So, Nicole, were you able to sign up on that?
I did, but I had to put my zip code in, so I think I'm only going to get alerts for, like, New Hampshire, which we're pretty safe up here. I think I'd have to just keep checking the website to see state-by-state information.
Because, let me go back to this. Glenn made a comment. It's based upon state-specific issues. So based upon zip code, we do national releases on issues of national significance. Each state's retailers are informed regularly on the status of bills that means to engage on. So does that mean, I'm just trying to understand that. Does that mean, so if you put in your zip code, you're only going to hear about New Hampshire?
Yeah. I already asked him that. He said
sorry, I had to regroup because there's a lot going on here. Yeah, but like, what if we want to hear about everything all the time? Like some of us, just for the sake of the argument, I want to know what's going on in every county, everywhere, all the time. I want to know. I want to know if it's going on in Wyoming. I want to know about it. So, do I have to go in and put every zip code in? That's what I want to know.
Or you can just look at the site. But
yeah, like I said, I don't know if that's designed for a media person though. That's kind of where I would go.
Yeah.
It's not designed for me. So what I would look at as a media person is we need. This goes back to having a press kit for the key things. Because I get you can't do that for everything. And to be honest with you, what's happening in Laramie, Wyoming, is probably not going to be of interest to most of my readers. So I need to know the ones.
Not even that I just want to write
know.
about it, but I just want to know about
Yeah.
it. And then if I find something, I'm like, oh, here's something interesting that's going on
Right,
over here.
right.
But not to play devil's advocate, I feel like there are a lot of consumers who might be interested in hearing things from other states just to know. I know they can't necessarily help because you need to, reside in that state to sign anything, but I feel like more people might be interested than they might think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if you don't write about it, but like we do it here. I mean,
We get a lot of interest just in the comments.
I get that like it's a lot of work to write about it all the time, but just being able to talk about it for a few hours on a show, it's easier.
It is interesting. Yeah, like I said, the major ones are the ones I'm really looking at.
I mean, 100%. I agree with you on that. And I'm not saying we're
I would
going to
say
talk
about a
about every
dozen.
little thing,
Yeah.
but sometimes you might find some. The argument I'm trying to make is sometimes you'll find something from a small little area that isn't getting enough coverage, but maybe it should be. And it's like, oh, we don't know about it, and it's like, hey, let's talk about this because like this is interesting. Because maybe it should be a big thing, and it's just not being boosted
Right,
enough.
maybe some. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I know what you're saying. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying maybe we're not hearing enough of those.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough.
And if
Outs-
what we can do to help is
outside-
getting people to sign up on that website, then,
Then you've done your job. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I go like I said. If I looked at maybe in the last year, there's only been really 3 things that have maybe at a state level has been of major interest. And I would say Texas, California, and now New York. Those are the 3 that are carrying, I think, where I get asked from people in other states about those things. So more now New York, obviously. Like I said, I got to recognize from a bandwidth standpoint, I can't do it. So, and I imagine that takes a lot of resources to do it. So I do get you have to pick your battles. It's very important.
I think that really covered that.
Yeah.
But Kuba, I know we talked earlier in the week. I knew we wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, we talked about that. I know we were talking about the other thing was we just mentioned it. We mentioned the other thing we just talked about.
I'm already blanking on it.
Yeah, I'm drawing blanking on it too. Senior moment.
Apparently, I'm having a senior moment too. I don't even know what you're talking about.
We're so deep into the show now.
I know. I'm like, when did we just talk about it? I'm trying to remember. I mean, the other thing you guys have to understand too, and I'll be delicate about this, but Coop and I also talk about things that we don't discuss on the air. So, and there's also like the filter that's like, wait, it can't be that because I'm not going to talk about that. So, which, if you think that's odd, like, why?
It was the event thing, and then there was one other thing where we're saying, I talked to my team about it. I talked to you about it, rather. And I forget, we talked about something this week. But we already mentioned, I know we already mentioned it, because I said we mentioned it already.
Yeah, we talked about the event, kind of a little bit on the international piece, which I don't even know. I remember when I brought that up, you said you were going to go 2 waves with it, but maybe you did. There was a lot here. There was a lot. And you know what? We didn't even get to finish that conversation.
Well, no, I basically said I'm a big supporter of the Dubai
No, not
thing.
that. Our initial conversation of discussion of things.
Yeah.
I cut the call short. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, I'm drawing a blank. Well, we got really into that. I didn't expect it to go that deep. I really didn't. And it's funny because Nicole asked me about it. I was like, we're going to talk about this, but I don't think it's going to be like the whole... And it ended up being the whole thing. But the other thing, too, is you get the engagement from the audience, too, and then that kind of fuels it. But that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It shows that, the people watching the show, listening to the show, they actually want to hear about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And they contribute to that, and they add to that, and that's great. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. There was another thing that we talked about. I was going to get into.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost it. Damn it. Senior moment. Don't feel too bad, Coop, because I forgot too. So you can't. I wouldn't classify it as a senior moment.
No, I had my senior moment.
My senior moment. Which, by the way, I wanted to ask you. So, just in regards to the next couple of weeks, I know you said that you had a lot.
I have a lot of travel in July.
Yeah, where else do you try? Like cigar travel or work travel?
Some, all of the above, and vacation.
Where are you going on cigar travel?
I'm gonna, it's time to get to Miami again.
Of course it is.
Oh, so I should have seen that coming.
As much as you say that, Coop, I've been dying for a Miami trip. I sent Matthew.
I'm going the last week in July. I'm going the last week in July. So it starts off Bear's wedding next weekend. I come back from the wedding for 2 days, and then my wife and I we leave for the Rockies for 8 days.
Vacation.
We come back, vacation. I come back. I have a work thing in Miami, and I'm just staying the rest of the week. So it's all the above.
So basically, Coop's gonna go to Miami. He's gonna go hang out with Hector.
I don't think Hector's around that week. Actually, I think he's traveling that week. So I'm just gonna hang out by myself. If I'm hanging out by myself, I'm totally fine.
First of all, you're not gonna be hanging out by yourself. You're gonna go to Caribbean, and you're gonna be in there for you're gonna be in there for 6 hours.
I go to Caribbean like 8 or 9 at night, though. It's kind of funny. Because that place is open till like 3 or 4 in the morning. So, yeah, I got that. I'm gonna go make a few rounds to see a few people at various places. I'm sure. But what happened is, I think I told at the beginning, I did start a new job within the same company, but it's a completely new job, and it has a different calendar mindset. So it makes my December very busy at work. It makes my New Year's week between Christmas and New Year's very busy. So
busier than it used to be.
A lot busier than it used to be. But
that means your end of the year stuff's going to be tough.
The year-end stuff's tough, but it frees up a lot of other stuff in the process. So I'm fine with that, because I used to work those days anyway. So
yeah.
So it's a little more easier for me to work remote at times too with this job. So yeah, there's some changes. So you're gonna see me going back to Miami a lot more.
Oh, oh man. Maybe you should send Coop some of those food places in Miami, because he likes to eat.
I should.
I mean, send them to me too, but send them to Coop.
I'm a creature of habit in Miami, though. Let's see.
You might need to branch out. I just sent him a video last night of 20 like good food places. I don't know.
I get asked for a lot of like single food places, unless it's really a big name place. Like local places don't make it worth my time to cover food stuff. It's only once a week I'm doing it. So.
Well, maybe not for a review, but just to like explore.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I like doing that. Yeah. So.
Especially if you're going down more. I know when you go somewhere and only every once in a while, you kind of want to hit up the spots that you like. But if you're going to go down,
that's always
more time to spread out.
Yeah. No, it's true. Because there's Alex from KMA wants me to try a couple of these pizza places now in the area. I did find out there's a Frank Pepe's in South Florida today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to be other places.
Well, okay, everything's relative. I'm in North Carolina. I don't have anything close to a Frank Pepe's. Maybe one or two places, but not much. I don't have anything where I can get clam pie. So that's the problem. I can't get clam pie in North Carolina.
So you got to go there and get one.
Like, if I'm in Connecticut, it's another story. So, it was funny. I was in Connecticut, right? And the guy I was with, like, did not want to go over to Frank Pepe's. He wanted smoking. He's kind of like me. He wanted smoking time. Because there was a guy from Charlotte who went up to the event. He just went on his own, and he wanted to hang out. And he wanted to smoke. So, we found places to smoke, of course. So, but I was like, I want to go to Frank Pepe's, but it was too far to get to that. So, it wasn't close enough. So, I did not get Frank Pepe's.
They all opened up. Like up here a lot.
Yeah, we got one in Watertown.
Like 5 or 10 years.
And I think there's one in Burlington.
Again, I didn't get a clam pizza on Staten Island, only because I was a little keeping, even in a hotel refrigerator. I kind of could have kept it at my mom's. Keeping a clam pie got me a little worried. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when it comes to fish, you got to be.
And it's not good. It's not good cold either.
No.
Pizza, so.
You can eat cold
Yeah, how about
pepperoni. Cold clam?
You can eat
I don't
cold
know
pizza,
about
yeah.
that.
No, you can't eat that. And microwave's not an option, so yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna reheat clam pizza, you gotta do it in the oven. Gotta warm
I
it.
did go to Danino's, which is a iconic place on Staten Island. Portnoy gave it a very high rating, actually. So if you want to say good, Portnoy got that one right.
I thought you said he wasn't a good reviewer though, but then you say,
He's
oh,
not. But he's not because, like I said, he doesn't. There's a lot he doesn't cover. He doesn't cover proportions. Like this, I'm getting into branching into more areas now of reviews. So one thing you can see now is proportion size is emphasized a lot more. So
do you think is the succession plan someday when you retire from Coop? Do you go from Coop to being a food blogger? Is that
no?
going to be the no?
I don't. I don't think I could do it. If I did it, I think I'll just keep it once a week. I don't think I want to do it more than. I don't think I want to do it. I really don't like eating out a lot either. So that's the problem. I'm more home people. So
Really?
Yeah.
Could've
We went out to
me.
dinner last night. That was rare. So yeah.
Is it more so only when you travel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why you saw a Primanti review and I take my stuff so I can do it in a hotel. I take my thermal bag with me. I have a thermal bag, which is great. Keeps everything hot, so you can take stuff back.
Oh, I remember what I was going to ask you. So I was having a conversation with a manufacturer who shall remain nameless. And we were talking about some stuff, and I said, oh, you guys are, thanks. You guys are really on top of, your stuff or whatever. Doing a great job. And he made a comment to me, and I thought it was peculiar, and I figured I'd bring it up to you. And he said, yeah, problem with a lot of manufacturers out there is they got a lot of them have a lot of people working for them that don't care about cigars anymore. Would you say that's true?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm on the fence with this one. I don't want to answer from the hip too much on that, but I can see it.
My first reaction was, good point. Because from my standpoint, doing what we do, and we've talked about certain things, you kind of like calculate all that, and you're like, you know what, it kind of makes sense. Not saying people going around being like, oh, I hate this business, but it's the way they go about things and the way they carry themselves, and
Yeah.
they do their job, most of them, but it's not, it's like, it's going through the motions, and I get it. Any job, gets repetitive, it burns you out.
About this with media, it's not, you lose a little of the edge in terms of passion after a while.
You do.
Or it's more of a job.
But
when you feel like you're pulling on a rope for a story, it's like it's not fun anymore.
And that's all very true, and I agree with you 100%. But from a manufacturer standpoint, where your main objective is to sell product, I think, that's kind of a problem.
Right? I don't see that per se. I still see enough of these events, quote unquote events, out there.
Tablecloths.
Do it. Tablecloth events. But nonetheless, there's consumer engagement going on with that, right? But the problem is, I see, I think sometimes we expect every cigar rep to smoke 6 cigars a day, be all into wrapper, binder, filler, and in reality, that's an unrealistic expectation, right? So in a way, it could seem like people aren't into cigars anymore. So, I mean, here, a good example, Jonathan for a while wasn't smoking from Drew Estate, right? But anyone can say Jonathan wasn't passionate about cigars. It's crazy. He was still as passionate, but for whatever reason, he kind of laid off some cigars for a while, right? So I don't think that's necessarily. The more I think about it, I'll disagree with that statement. I think maybe the level of expectation is too high sometimes.
Okay.
If I go into a cigar, like a multi-cigar event, and I see 6 reps smoking cigarettes and not cigars, then I'll question that more. But I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't seen that yet either. The day I see that though, I'm coming for him. Can I also just add, I lit up a Casada Suspiro, Connecticut.
I haven't got one of those yet.
Yeah, got these at the show, and I just took the band off, and I gotta give it a little. I don't know. It's a small detail, but inside of the band, they get a blurb there. Spark up here and now, and then there's a QR code on the inside of the band, and I assume it goes to casadacigars.com. And it's such a little detail, but most cigar bands have nothing on the inside. I mean, the last time I saw something on the inside of a band, I think was...
Well, yeah, but sometimes they get some of the oils come on it. I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of it. I don't think it hurts.
I
will
think
say
that...
something about that band. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to add in really quickly. I think that it, with the, time always rolling on and younger people, the generations shift, you're gonna get people who are gonna scan it. They're gonna go, oh, I'm gonna scan that. You know what I mean?
And that's why,
and it might keep them engaged a little bit more.
So that's why I keep saying that Cigar News is not what it used to be, right? Because there's more channels that people can get their information from. Like if someone wants to learn about that cigar, they can hit that QR code. It's gonna take them right to the manufacturer's site, and they don't need to go to Cigar Coop with that, right?
Right.
So that's why I think news is becoming less and less. That's why I've had a pivot. I keep saying news is not as important as it was 5 years ago. It's changing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not discouraged. Things are changing. We've got to evolve. That's why I keep saying, like, if that's a good thing that they have that. And you're right. Younger people are going to do that. People like me aren't going to do it. I will say something about that band.
Yeah.
If they would have sent out the logos looking like that band, those logos wouldn't have been criticized the way they went. The band looks much better than what was sent out on the image. It does. I'm not saying I love it, but I'm saying it's a lot better.
When they sent out the generic graphic, I was like,
it was terrible. They blew it with that, yeah.
But then you see it on the band, and you're like, all right, it actually looks good on the band.
I told Jamie Flores at the show, I said, Jamie, this looks so much better. He actually, that graphic went out before he started. But if they would have sent out something, because it did, I'm not saying I didn't love it, right? But I don't hate it that was on the band, yeah.
And what we got was, it was like all brown and gold, right? Like the generic image when we got the press release. Oh, we updated the logo. But when you notice the band is that like the star compass thing in the middle. This is like a what do you call that? Like what do you call that? Like
holographic.
Holographic. It's got like the silver holographic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't
like
see
the Cohiba bands. You know what I mean?
It looks so much better. Ones. Yeah, it looks so much. I was talking to someone else in the media about it, and they agreed with me. If they would have never, they should just get rid of that old graphic. And somehow, if you can, I don't know. That's tough to do now. It's tough to recreate. But they could have embellished that logo a lot more, is what I'm saying. And it would not have gotten the reaction because I think it looked a lot better on the bands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I had. Well, this was a good show. I feel like we accomplished a lot. Coop, thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it.
So, I'll be back in a few weeks. So, like I said, I have the next 2 weeks I'm gone. So, but yeah, we'll be looking forward to it. I'm actually shutting down most of my shows too during that point. So,
yeah. So we'll have to regroup. Couple weeks, and we'll go from there. It'll be a great time. But in the meantime, guys, thank you for being here with us tonight. To everyone who contributed to the show, if you're listening later, if you're not watching, and I want to add this in really quickly, just if I may, if you're not watching the show live, I always hear a lot of people, in passing, if I happen to talk to them, like, oh, I was listening to that show, blah blah blah. They always have something to say, and I appreciate that, but I feel like if I wasn't talking to them, they wouldn't have mentioned it. If you're listening to the show later and you have any comments that you want to add to it, you can always send them to us. Like, hey, I was listening to the show. Like, we'll bring it up on the next show. Because I feel like there's a obviously a lot more people that listen or watch it later, and they don't always comment on stuff. Either because they're listening and they can't, or if they're watching. I feel like, and some people do, but some people don't because I feel like they're like, well, it's not live, so, but. Always, never be shy. if you're listening to this later, you're watching this, if it's a week from now, whatever, just drop me a message, drop Coop a message, whoever you want to message to.
Yep.
Because I always hear things from people, but they don't say it unless like we happen to be chatting. You know what I mean? It's like but they're like, oh, I wish I could have said that. I'm like, well, tell me anyway. Like, just send me a message. I'll bring it up on the next show. Yep. But yeah, thank you guys for all that.
Thank you. Yep.
And don't forget to go to smokingtobacco.com for more news, reviews, and updates